Welcome, everyone. This is a special moment for me and for my fellow authors. About, let's see, it could be a few months, it feels like a year, but in my mind, it's been 5 years since I lost my mother due to Parkinson's disease. I've always had issues that came up when I was trying to support my mother. And guess what? Even though I'm an attorney, I had an attorney because it doesn't matter, what I know. I just felt more comfortable going to experts. So what we decided to do together as a family, my co-authors, the incredible and inspiring advocate Kimberly Jacobsen is with me, and my friend and both my family, Dawn Howard. We're going to go through the room for a moment and just share, what brought us to this table, literally, why we felt, and if everyone knows we're in court right now together, but why we felt this is such a critical topic for the Parkinson's community, but also families and the world. So I'm going to welcome again Kimberly first, and congratulations again on becoming an author. But really, I'll never be able to put in words to both of you how much this book means to me because there's so many important issues that, as many know, when you're battling Parkinson's, you don't really think about, have time, or just not sure what to expect. And I really feel I should probably just show it with this beautiful book that this can change many individuals' lives. So again, welcome everyone who's listening. Please share this, support us, and all the money again really is going to go back to all of you, the Parkinson's community. But I wanted to again send the show to Kimberly to start us off.
Thanks so much, George. So I was excited when George told me he had this dream of creating a book about Parkinson's and the law, but I was like, oh my goodness, that sounds a little overwhelming because there are so many topics to pick from. And I really wanted to talk a lot about the work that I do as an attorney doing discrimination law. And I think the book came out great. I'm really proud of it. I think it has a little something for everyone, whether you're having issues in your housing with Parkinson's, or you're having issues at work, or you need some to get some government benefits, or you're doing estate planning. There's like a little bit of an overview of everything. It's not a substitute for a lawyer, but I think it's really a great reference book. And what I also think is it's not just a great reference book for people who have Parkinson's and their caregivers, but really anyone with a chronic disability could benefit from this book. It really has a lot of the basic laws. It's very readable, very understandable, not in legalese. And I think people really will enjoy the book, and I look forward for you to read it. It's exciting.
I appreciate it and love all that you did and all the hard work you put into this. It's really important too to note that Kimberly did mention is also the caregivers. Sometimes, like my mother was battling, she didn't really think about these issues, even though they affected her. Whether, like you said, workplace, just daily life. There's so much going on, medications, doctors, that a lot of this is shifted or pushed to the side and sometimes often forgotten. And it's really important issues. And even if you don't have Parkinson's, like Kimberly mentioned, for anything, just for life. I mean, I have a will already. Might be because we didn't have one for my mother until we learned about this and we did plan. So she was set up properly, but she allowed me to be her advocate in a way and also her power of attorney. But I want to now send the show to Dawn, somebody who inspires me, talks to me literally 24/7. Some nights we don't sleep. We're so doing social media, advocating together, literally 5 a.m., 6 a.m., sometimes 4, 3, 2, and 1. But it's an honor to be able to call her family and to during some of my tougher times, and she knows during some of many of her tougher times that she has me by her side and Kim. So I wanted to again welcome you to the little synopsis here. I do think we can do, this in a series. So much, maybe each time we could touch on a specific chapter or topic. And I just think the more everyone out there listening shares this, even if you can't, forward or buy the book, just share these shows and really you're going to get some important understanding of how vital it is to have a will or to understand, insurance issues, or these are all issues everybody's struggling with and no one's really talking about. One last thing I do want to keep saying, I don't want to brag or I don't know the reason, but this is the first book I've ever seen. And I always challenge everyone listening to write me and yell at me if I'm wrong. But there's nothing, literally nothing like this book or covering this topic in the world. I don't know why, and I think it's about time, and that's why we did it. So welcome again, Dawn. It's always love advocating by your side. Maybe you could touch a little bit about the book in your words.
Okay, thanks, George. When George first approached me about doing a book, it really tweaked my interest. The main reason it did was because in 2022, I had a stroke and I had memory issues and cognitive ability issues, not only from Parkinson's, from which I was diagnosed in 2011, and then the stroke just further amplified those issues. And it was during the COVID, the Business Social Security Administration wasn't really back full. The workers weren't back in the office yet. Most of them were doing over the phone. And of course, the phone lines were tied up, as you might can only imagine. So I had to figure this out on my own. So when you approached me of writing this book, I was like, this would be a great way to help people who are newly diagnosed, or somebody who's working that's considering going on disability. Because like I said, I literally had no help. So my portion of the book that I really like, because I worked in insurance, so I can understand the insurance logistics, and that's where my knowledge comes from. And then if I was also going through the disability process myself, so I can help people with that aspect of the book. Because a lot of people, when I first filed for Social Security disability, I didn't even know the difference was with the difference of Social Security income and SSDI. I really knew nothing about it because I thought, okay, when I'm diagnosed in 2011, I thought, oh, don't worry, I've got 20, 30 years to worry about, getting disabled. I thought I really honestly believed I was going to be working longer. So boy, it was a shock when I found out I had to file for disability a lot sooner than I expected. So this book is for people who you don't want to wait, is what I'm trying to say. You don't want to wait till something happens to be knowledgeable, because somebody you need, like George, you mentioned that by previous conversations, that you need to have a power of attorney. Somebody needs to know what to do in case something happens. Because if you don't have a power of attorney or anything like that, then people can't get access. They don't know what your wishes are. They can't get into your financials. They can't help you in the medical part of it. So that's what this book is good about. It'll help not only for people with Parkinson's, but people with other disabilities. That'll help them with what kind of insurance, like what is COBRA insurance, what is Medicaid, what is Medicare, when does Medicare start? This kind of some of the samples of what the book is going to be about.
I appreciate it, Dawn, and just listening to both of you also, like all of us are on social media, seeing so many stories and journeys and people sharing things that I think this book literally will address, but they're not aware. We need to get this out there and make sure the whole world knows about it. I'll be in Washington, D.C. with the Michael J. Fox Foundation in September. Definitely going to bring a copy. Maybe I'll hand them to all our politicians there and congressmen and women because, again, it's not being spoken about. It's shocking to me that these issues, they exist 24/7, 365 days a year and are affecting so many, but it's just, there's nothing out of, yes, there are a few foundations who have areas, a page or two on the site, which we do mention in the book, but it's not enough. It has to be spoken, and the three of us together will be a voice together, and hopefully everybody else out there will also support this mission. So wanted to now turn for a moment on how everyone can also support our incredible team here. If you go to TogetherForSharon.com, click bookstore, then you can scroll down to Parkinson's disease and the law. I'll also add that link so you can skip right to it. And here it is, the cover. It really became out beautiful, and I love the process together with both of you. This was not something I did alone. Actually, I could have done the whole thing alone, but I realized that, I wanted it to be a voice of actual individuals battling, but also advocates, and that's why decided to join and really as a team because we have to all be, I think, a family in this fight towards a cure. But click here, you can, it'll send you right to how to purchase. So you can see it's very reasonable price. My books are usually much more, but we wanted this to be very affordable. So very, very, very reasonable. If you need the ebook though, you would go to Amazon. Don't recommend going to get the paper book there because then unfortunately Amazon will be benefiting, which is fine, but we can't donate it to Parkinson's through there. And lastly, international orders would have to go through Amazon, and that's just because of shipping and things, and you can look much more. So for our link, it's mainly for inside the US. Then we'll share a few pictures here, and you can see more about the book, but we have the actual authors here and a little bit more on their biographies and really how this is dedicated to the entire Parkinson's community. I don't want anyone like my mother or I felt alone. My mother had Parkinson's for 15 years. She never even met somebody who had Parkinson's and didn't know anyone else had it. Back then, I didn't even know what it was except the word Parkinson. So it wasn't until she had it for over 7 years that I learned it was a disease. And unfortunately, she progressed so quickly that it would take her. But we planned so well, it could have been a lot worse. We had the funeral. Again, I don't like going too much into this because it's tough to still, and I could talk about any topic. Actually presenting in front of a law enforcement agency about policing a Parkinson Tuesday. You'd think that would be scary because everyone's got weapons, but it's fun. But talking a few minutes the other day to actually Michael J. Fox Foundation, 2 minutes, they asked me about my mother's journey. I'm 6'2", 200 pounds, and I was crying. So it's even 5 years later, it's not easy, but we have to keep trying because I don't want anyone else to go through this. But again, my point is, I mean, my mother was a saint. We had her funeral plan, we had the will. All those things would have been a family disaster and a war probably between any family. And it doesn't have to be. If you do read this book, purchase it. And if you're done with it, share it with a neighbor, share it with a friend. It could be something that really lives on beyond all of us. But here you also find the biographies of my amazing co-authors here. You also see the list of table of contents. So you'll see a lot of the topics like Dawn and Kimberly mentioned. We didn't get to them all, but in reality, I wouldn't mind every few months. We could even do a little one of the, maybe we'll have 24 of these in time. It could be just a few a year, but love to go through some of these topics with everyone and maybe on the chapters, each of you wrote. It could even be just one or two of us, one of us, or all of us together. So that's really, again, the main thing we wanted to all come together and share with you. Again, feel free to support Kim and Dawn and myself right here, just a click of a button, and that's all. And that was really just our intent tonight to join together in a courtroom finally for the first time. But it's just so proud they have copies too finally. So I like, I'm old school even though I might be young. I love the smell of the books. I know books are not really as in these days, if that's the word, but it's just a beautiful thing. And there's so many references. It's like honestly, I think it's like probably 10, 11 pages or more references. So it's not just a book we threw together. It's something we all really research, plan, and spend many, many months and really years doing. So just want to send this back to both of you for any last, I don't like saying last, let's say to be continued notes, because this is not the end. This has to continue, have to keep advocating. And I always say, till there's a cure at everybody's doorsteps around the world, we have to continue this fight together as a family. So any, conclusions for today to wrap up, Kimberly?
Yeah, I would just say, as a person living with Parkinson's, I think this is a great tool even for me. And I learned a lot of things reading the book that I wasn't aware of. And I hope everyone in the community goes out and gets themselves a copy because I think it's a really great tool for everyone.
Thanks, and I know you both teach me so much. I don't care how many degrees I may have, whether it's law, PhD, master's, I still have so much more to learn. And being able to work with both of you side by side, I've learned so much, but I know that still have more to come to learn. I wanted to also send it to Dawn for her wrap up.
Well, I would like to mention, that, like, the book is a good reference book. It's not just a book that you can just, I think it's a book that you should share with your friends and family, but it's a book that you want to get back. Because if you're still working, that book is a good reference point when you do decide to file for disability. So that way you know what those options are and where to, because I'm like, if not, you're going to spend hours and hours and hours of your own time to find the same information that we put into this book in a simple, easy format that kind of explains it a little bit easier and not so, doesn't take you as much time to go through it.
I agree. I mean, this should be a class, in the in Washington offered for everybody, or actually at all the bar associations, which could be possible if we had some time, but to read, maybe, we could send this to them. And there's the American Bar Association. Every county has a bar, so many, but they're not talking about this. So if everyone's out there listening, feel free to share this show too and the book with your local bar associations, attorneys, and also paralegals, anyone in the legal field. We need to get everybody in this country really, we're in a way awake to this topic and how important it is. And there's not a lot of, there might be some aging or elderly type lawyers, but I don't really see many specifically talking about these topics. And I won't get into the financial burden that you will save too with a $16 or $17 book versus I know some lawyers 300-400 an hour, so it's obviously it's if you're gonna actually do something more. But this is a great reference, like Dawn said and Kimberly. And I just want to thank everyone again for their time. I want to thank my co-hosts and co-authors here. And Dawn, congratulations on second time authors. Please go to her Amazon. You can pick up her book that she also wrote in the past, which I have a copy. And any way we could support everyone in this family, you can count me in. So I want to thank Kimberly and Dawn, and also thank you, our really family out there. Please share this. Please pick up a copy of the book. Holidays are coming. It doesn't matter when we tape this, but there's always some holiday every month, and it's always a good time. And also, please, the most important thing, like Kimberly and Dawn said, you got to plan ahead. So if you don't get the book, please think about these things. Again, I'm so grateful. My mother is she might not be with me, but she did do some saint work in a way that she helped our family through tough times, even when she wasn't here. I can't say that for my father, who doesn't have Parkinson's, but is going through other issues like kidneys and just nothing planned. And it's really bad. If he had read this book, I think he would have also known to plan ahead and really help your families, because it's not just about helping the individual diagnosed, but also you're supporting a family. There's just so many sad stories I'm sure Kimberly and I have read on family law and in this areas of Will's and Dawn's research too, where people weren't prepared, and afterwards it's just rips, tears families apart. And we can prevent that, in my opinion, through this book and through everyone being there together. So again, thanks. This is just the first. I believe that this could be a little mini series that we could do for years to come, because all these topics I feel are very important. And as you read and look along with the incredible work of Dawn and Kimberly, you're going to see how really important they are, and they'll affect your lives for the better. So thank you again, Kimberly. Thank you, Dawn, for your friendship, advocacy, time. I love you both, and love everybody listening. This has
And
been,
thank you, George.
I
Thank you,
appreciate.
George.
No problem. And we do this for one purpose. We don't want anyone to feel alone, and I don't want anyone, unfortunately, to go through what my mother did. But I feel she lives on through everyone we touch and meet. So thanks everyone for supporting us all. And this has been our first of many, I hope, series. This is our introduction as to why we want to really get the word out there, and we need your help and support. This is Parkinson's disease and the law, rights, policies, and procedures. And three of us have a copy. Now it's your time to also join in and purchase one. Thanks, everyone, and feel free to keep an eye on the link. I'm actually going to also add our incredible co-host or mine social media links too. So if you could both send them to me after the show, please follow them, support them. They do some incredible work beyond just this book that I love and share as much as I can, and literally 24/7, 365 days. Because like I always say, Parkinson's disease doesn't take a break, so why should I? Love you all, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.